I wanted to make it a point to start this month off with a post just to check in with you guys, to let you know I'm still here. I'm just ultra busy doing these YouTube videos. I think some people get the wrong idea. I know there are a lot of you out there who are creators yourself and you understand the reality of making these videos and that it takes a lot of time to put yourself in front of the camera and sit there and edit this stuff and post it out there and put it out into the world for people to see. It's not easy. And last month, I was met with one challenge after another. But let me get on with the reason I'm posting this video. I've been hinting around and telling you guys that there have been some things going on, mainly with the gear. I haven't been holding it or keeping it a secret or anything, but I've been getting rid of a lot of gear. You will notice now that the Marshall, a long time ago in the mid 90s, I had a 30th anniversary Marshall. It was a combo, and I got it from a close friend and bandmate of mine. It was a great amp for guitar, but as time went on, I don't know if you guys remember what custom amps are, if you've ever heard of them, but they're like these padded amplifiers. They have guitar amps and bass amps from what I remember, but I got 2 custom bass amps, so dual heads and the cabinets, and it was dreadful. I changed my mind, but that 30th anniversary went like that. This guy was able to sell that 30th anniversary in seconds. The same guy, I got a lot of gear from him for really good deals. I got the Moog from him, the Moog Liberation, stuff like that. This guy had it all when it came to vintage stuff. And this bass actually came from that guy. No, this is not a video about Fender and all that kind of stuff, but this bass came from there because I really don't care about all that stuff with the cease and desist and all that. You know what? I could care less, because the reason that I am selling off so much of my gear is because, once again, I've said this many times before, you don't need to hoard your gear, people. Not everyone needs to have 20, 30, 40, 50 instruments. You don't have to. I'm not against anyone who does that. If that's what you want to do, that's fine. But I'm personally tired of it. I don't need all that stuff. I've had way too much gear throughout my life, and now I'm at a point to where, you know what, it's time to sell stuff. So I have sold off 7 instruments. So 7 instruments that you have probably seen on this channel are now gone. I have sold them. I sold that amp. I'm going to sell more amps. Anyway, I'm not finished. I'm going to keep getting rid of stuff because I feel it's important to have gear that you can put to use, not gear that's just sitting around. Once again, this is not a video to take a stab at people who have gas, basically, because that's definitely what I had. For so long, I've had horrible gas. And with that gas, I have made a lot of decisions, and I'm sitting there with this piece of gear or this, this instrument, and I'm like, wow, did I really need to do that? And then I'm overcome with this great deal of guilt. Well, now I'm feeling the exact opposite by selling the gear, if that makes sense. So let me reiterate a little bit. And just for the record, I sold the Marshall basically for what I paid for it. I truly did not suffer a loss. I've suffered greater losses. Like letting go of an 810 SVT for $200, that is suffering a loss. Losing 25 bucks, that's not a loss. That's breaking even, and I broke even. It was such an easy transaction. I just felt this great deal of relief because I had one less piece of clutter in this house. I have stuff sitting around for what? And I'll admit it, to some degree, depending on what it is or what activity it may be, I can grow tired of things. I've been called fickle many times. I would say the only thing I'm not fickle about is my marriage, and my, being a family man and all that kind of stuff. That is my number one priority. Overall is love, And while music has always been my passion and the greatest thing to me, there's nothing like loving individuals who love you, and the love is requited and you have this bond, right? And it becomes so important that you focus on the things that allow you to get through life a little bit easier without so much struggle and driving away the people who are with you or around you, or alienating them because you're focusing on this thing. And that, for me, was the music business. Once I realized how the music business was really gonna be, I decided that I didn't want any part of it anymore. I wanted to get out of it, and I made a decision to start my own business and get involved with working for myself. And that decision eventually led to me being so busy that I had to stop music 100%. I had to completely stop doing it. And that hurt because for a while, there was a period where honestly, I went years without even touching any instruments or playing anything. You know, there's something about things that you love in life. I'm just totally rambling around with the gear, but when you love something so much that it just finds a way to call you back and bring you back into it, that's what happened to me. But every time I would come back, I would eventually start to ask myself, why did I come back to doing this? So this channel and exploring or having these conversations with you guys about music and sharing the overall celebration of music with you all is my goal with this channel. It's my purpose, you know? I don't have to pack stadiums. I don't have to win Grammys, you know? None of that stuff was ever important to me. All I wanted to do was roam the planet, meeting people who love music as much as I do and celebrate with them. That's all I'm trying to do. There will be times where I will take a hiatus and I won't post a video for a while. But believe me, the inspiration never leaves me. I've been wanting to get back to this for so long. All month, every single day, I tried, you know, and I actually filmed some videos. I'm like, these videos aren't good. I'm not going to post them, which is also a huge mistake. And I know I sound like a hypocrite by saying that's a bad thing to do and advising people, hey, if you have something, let it out there. You should. I have a really hard time with that, you know, and I've been the same way with music that I created, you know, where I'm like, it's not good enough. I'm not going to put it out. I'm not going to release it. These things happen, and I'm not the only person who feels this way. I'm sure many of you feel the same or have experienced the same thing. But the main purpose of this video overall, while it will have a theme to it, is to just check in with you guys, wish you a happy June, tell me how you feel about the gear you've acquired over these years. By the way, GAS is gear acquisition syndrome. If you guys have any stories to share, or if you want to tell me how many basses do you have, how many guitars do you have, how many drum sets do you have, how many keyboards do you have, how many saxophones do you have, doesn't matter. Whatever your primary instrument is, if you have multiple, how many versions of that instrument do you have? Let me put it that way. How many of them do you have? How many basses do you have, for example? I want to know. I can tell you right now, the most I've ever had at one time was 16, I believe. Just to be safe, I'm going to go with 15. So 15 basses I had at one time. And that's not even counting all the guitars I had. It was ridiculous. And it had to stop. I'm just kind of narrowing it down to instruments that I have a lot of history with. I have a lot of history with this bass. This bass has been in the studio with me all over the place, from here to New York to all, you know, California, even South by Southwest. I mean, this instrument has been with me through a lot. And you know, the funny thing about it, when I got this instrument, vintage instruments were not as costly as they are today. And I was really rough on this instrument. I used to drag it, slam it into the amp at the end of a set and do all this crazy stuff. I really was rough on this instrument, and it has managed to just hold up, and it gives a nice warm tone. Yeah, it's a nice warm bass. I like it a lot. But the main reason I stick with it, it's a crowd pleaser. And what I mean by the crowd pleasing part of it, it's that instrument that sound men love it, studio engineers love it, producers love it. It's just a bass. But it's the bass that has been heard on most recordings, and that's kind of why I stick with it. If I had it my way, as you guys know, it would be the Padula, but I really wish I had a fretted Padula as well, because I'm struggling right now I'm really battling whether or not I want to stick with fretless or fretted, or do I want to keep juggling them? Now I just have this Stingray here and the Padula. Those are my only fretless instruments now. I no longer have any 6-string instruments. So that's another question I want to ask you guys. Do you think it's important to have one of each? Because that, to me, is the only way I feel that it's valid for me to have more than one instrument. A fretted 4-string bass, a fretless 4-string bass, maybe a 5, but personally, I think a 6-string is better. I don't really need a fretless 6-string, so just having a 6-string bass would be good enough for me. I think it's important to have an acoustic electric bass. I will never part with mine. There's no reason to. I love it. And that's it for basses. For guitars, I think it's nice to have a hollow body guitar. I think it's nice to have, or semi-hollow. I think it's nice to have an acoustic guitar. I love my acoustic guitar. And I think it's good to have a nice, solid electric guitar, because if you're like me and you do your own stuff and you're just like a one-man band and you're recording everything, it's nice to have solid instruments that you can record with. And that's why I believe in that. Other than that, I'm ready to narrow it down a bit. So some more instruments are gonna have to go. I just haven't been able to make up my mind yet, because right now, for the first time ever, I've got a set of instruments that I really, really like. And now I'm trying to figure out which way I want to go next. I don't know for sure. Once again, just to close out this video, whatever instrument it is you play, I would love to know how many you have, why you have them. Let's have a conversation about it. I hope that no one is offended by some of the things I said, because I'm not here to offend anyone ever about anything. I don't really live that way. But I know for me, when I'm talking about this stuff, I am talking about myself. Someone once asked me that, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm the ambassador of this channel. I mean, this is my channel. So yes, for me, I think it's unnecessary to carry a load of instruments, excuse my language, but there's no point in it. There's absolutely no point for me to do this, because I am no longer in a touring band. I am no longer on the road. I'm no longer in and out of studios. All that stuff is behind me now. So I don't need to spend tens of thousands of dollars on amps and basses and all this other stuff when I'm not gonna do anything with it. It's just clutter at that point. Well, but anyway, maybe I'm just venting on my old self and I'm just getting it all out. But once again, I appreciate you guys watching the video. If you've watched it this far, answer those questions for me. I'll see you in another video very, very soon.